Hello, my name is Nick Merrihew. I am a teaching artist with Chicago Arts Partnerships and Education, and this is a quick video on sonic parameters. This video is intended for the students of the Dark Star Orchestra at Waters Elementary School in Chicago, Illinois, but I hope it has some interesting material for anyone who stumbles across this video. This is a bit of a follow-up to the last video that had to do with an introduction to graphic scores and thinking about the different ways that we can interpret images. I thought that it might be helpful as you're making your own graphic scores and you're trying to make decisions about how to perform them to talk a little bit about what we call sonic parameters. And if you don't know the word parameter, what it means in this context, a sonic parameter is a characteristic or a property of sound. It's something that has to do with sound that we can maybe change or make decisions about or explore through performance or through composition or listening. So let's dive right in and let's just talk about these four basic parameters. So these are the ones we're going to focus on today. There are lots of characteristics of sound, but these four words down here really get at, or will give us at least a starting place for making some interpretive decisions about our graphic scores. So the first one that I want to talk about is duration. I'll read all of them right now. We got duration, pitch, timbre. Looks like timbre, but it's actually pronounced timbre, and intensity. So let's talk about duration. Duration is how long or short is a given sound. Duration is related to rhythm. If when you play a rhythm, do you play it for one beat? Do you play a note for 5 seconds? Do you play it just as quickly as you can, like a millisecond, like 10 milliseconds? Do you hold a note for an hour? These are decisions about duration, and we can measure it in beats or seconds or minutes or hours. We might measure it in bars, depending on the tempo of a piece. Durations might change, but it has to do with how long or short a sound is. The next one is pitch, and we've talked in the Dark Star Orchestra, we've talked a lot about pitch already. How high or low is a given note? So if you think about our bell sets in the classroom, if we move to the right as we're playing, the notes get higher. If we move to the left, the notes get lower. So what is the pitch that you're working with? And you can explore this with your voice if you do things like, ooh, like that's a way of me going from low to high to low. Ooh. Or I could do the other way around. I go, ew. These are different pitches that I can explore. If I want to sing a really high note, I can do that. If I want to sing a really low note, I can do that. And those are all like things that we can explore with our voice to kind of gain a better understanding of this parameter. The next one is timbre, and this one is kind of a difficult one to describe. But let's say that I have a bell set. Let's think about the instruments that we have in the Waters Elementary classroom. So we've got bell sets, we've got guitars, and we've got some keyboards. So let's say I play a C on all of those instruments. I'll play a C on the bell set, I'll play a C on the guitar, and I'll play a C on my keyboard. All of those Cs are the same pitch. They might be the same duration, but they're still going to sound different because they're different instruments. And that difference is called timbre. It has to do with the way that different instruments or different voices vibrate, how the sounds vibrate or resonate. And sometimes we talk about this as like the quality of the sound. What does it sound like? Is it a string instrument? Is it a percussion instrument? Is it a wind instrument? If you and I were to sing the same note, it would sound different because we have different voices. Our voices have different timbres. Hopefully that makes sense. It's a little bit complicated to explain this without getting into some of like the physics of how sound works. But hopefully that gives you a sense of what timbre is and how it makes a difference from sound to sound. And lastly, intensity. And intensity is kind of maybe misleading. Intensity is basically just volume, right? How loud or soft is the sound? We can measure this in decibels. Sometimes you'll see like dB as an abbreviation, and that is a scientific way of denoting volume, or of measuring volume. And in traditional music notation, we often use like a curvy F, which means forte or loud, or we use a little P, and that means piano or soft. Sometimes you'll see shapes like this, which would be a crescendo or a decrescendo. I guess for you, decrescendo and a crescendo, that means to get louder, to get softer, but all of these are variations in intensity. You can again think about this as volume. So this is just kind of like an interpretive tool for you as you're working on your graphic scores. Think about, the images that you've made, or look back at the first video and look at some of those images and maybe make decisions about all four of those things. When I see this swath of orange paint in the score, does that mean a long note or a short note or a series of long notes or a series of short notes? How long or short? Is the pitch going to stay the same? Is it going to get higher or lower? Is it going to be low the whole time? Timbre. What kind of quality of sound are you going to use? Are you going to like rub pieces of paper together? Are you going to bang on a pot? Are you going to use your voice? If you use your voice, in what way? How will that sound? And finally, intensity. Maybe thinking about that Anthony Braxton score with the orange and the purple paint. Maybe the purple is really loud and the orange is really soft. Or maybe the other way around. Or maybe the orange starts soft and gets loud, and the purple starts loud and gets soft. Again, these are all decisions that you can make, and having a framework of these different parameters or different properties of sound can help you start to make some of those decisions. So I hope this was a helpful presentation. I'm going to be uploading another video today or tomorrow that has a performance of a graphic score that I'm working on. And I really hope that you can share with me some of the graphic scores that you've been working on if you've had a chance to do that activity. So hopefully this is helpful. I hope you learned something, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a good one.